Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. NLC criticizes 8 billion naira allocation for electricity bill sensitization. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has strongly criticized the 8 billion naira allocated in the 2025 federal budget to sensitize Nigerians about the need to pay electricity bills. The Federal Ministry of Power proposed the budget for a nationwide campaign aimed at addressing issues like power theft, poor payment habits, and the protection of national power assets. The Minister of Power, Adebayo, emphasized the importance of educating Nigerians on the cost of electricity, and the campaign is set to utilize various media platforms to reach the country's population. The NLC, however, finds the proposal absurd, with President Joe Ajaero arguing that it highlights the incompetence of the ministry and the sector's poor management. Ajaero pointed out that the severe corruption within the power sector and the ministry's inability to resolve long-standing issues such as power grid collapses and mounting debts owed to contractors. He also criticized the National Electricity Regulation Commission, NERC, for its ineffective oversight and failure to address problems despite the sector's ongoing crisis. Ajaero further emphasized that the focus on a sensitization campaign is misplaced when the sector's leadership is mired in incompetence and corruption. The NLC has pledged to monitor the situation closely and warned against any misuse of public funds through the budget process. They cautioned that such practices could deepen the economic stagnation and erode public confidence in government institutions. Joining us this morning is Comrade Adebayo as a national spokesperson, C.U.P.P. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning to you. All right, 8 billion naira for sensitization, basically telling people, oh, you need to pay up, your electricity bills. You need to ensure that there's no vandalization to, all of our infrastructure. Make sure that you're not stealing, power project equipment. Sensitization, basically, 8 billion naira. What's your reaction to this?
Well, my first reaction is the fact that we have a government or a ministry that are trying to now blame Nigerians for their own incompetency and the corruption that is running in the energy sector in this country. They are now, if there's anyone that needs sensitization, it is the people that are in government today. It is the minister and all the people around him. It is the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission that needs sensitization. It is the people, it is the contractors, it is the discos that need the sensitization, to be sensitized on the need for them to deliver on what they are being paid for. Now, the energy sector, the electricity sector in this country is the only sector that takes money for services rendered. Since December till now, here in Abuja, you can be lucky to have power, to have light for maybe 2 hours in a week. Maybe just 2 hours in a week. 8 billion naira to sensitize. I mean, that's just money for the boys. It is a proceed of corruption. That is the money that is the kind of money that can buy minimum of 200 to 300 transformers that can benefit communities and people that they want to put in the pockets of people in the name of sensitizing. Sensitizing who? That we should. Nigerians are paying. In fact, Nigerians shouldn't be paying for services rendered. As a matter of fact, if there will be any sensitization, there was a time in Lagos, I called this NEPA people. I said, come and remove your wire from my house. Because, they will bring bill for, there is no light. I'm running on generator. So I said, come and remove your wire and stop bringing bill to me. That's what I did. You see, because it is the Ministry of Power and the discos that are collecting money for services rendered from Nigerians. It is not the other way around. So you want to sensitize Nigeria and you need to be paying your crazy for how many weeks now? So they will come with all manner of excuses. See, this is what you get. Sometimes I wonder, what are the criteria by which some of our presidents, some of Nigerian presidents, appoint their ministers and their aides. you put the competent people into ministries where they perform net to 0%. So like somebody you are saying, we are earning 8 billion now to sensitize Nigeria. You see, Nigerians are not the problem. It is the leaders that are the problem. It is the ministry that is the problem. It is the discourse that are the problem. So it's not about Nigerians. Now you want to blackmail Nigerians because Nigerians are not paying when they should pay. That is why you are not doing well. We are two problems of incompetency and corruption in the United sector of Nigeria. So nobody in the power sector, nobody should come and tell us it's because Nigerians are not paying or Nigerians are owing. In this house, in this compound, nobody is owing anything. Ditto for many houses, many communities, they are owing. What? It is the disco that are owing Nigerians because they are collecting money for services not rendered. They are the ones owing. They are the ones that require mass sensitization for them to know how to do their job. The minister should do his job. Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission should do his job. The discourse must deliver all promises made, and the money they are collecting, they must render services for which they are collecting money. That is where our orientation should be. That is why we are sensitization should be. And for me, I assume that many people have taken it as a foregone conclusion that the current prime minister will be among the ministers that will have been booted out of power since the president did his if you call that the cabinet reshuffling or whatever. These ministers should have gone. You cannot have that ministry of power. It is not meant for comedians. It is not meant for sleeping partners. It is meant for people who are knowledgeable, who are experienced, who are competent, and who are able to deliver on the demands of that ministry. It's not for somebody who's a laid back and who talks to Nigeria, always explaining, always giving excuses, power grid collapse, debt, this and that. What we need is for you to deliver on the mandate of the Ministry of Power, not to give excuses. Deliver on the mandate of your ministry and give Nigerians power to work. You can see, minimally, bad power supply, bad electricity supply account for more than 50% of economic problems and business failures in this country. More than 50%, probably up to 70% to 75% of the negative impact on businesses in Nigeria. But this issue of power, it has moved from epileptic power supply to skeletal. Absolutely unstable. And how can we have a situation like this and you expect the macroeconomic sector to perform? They will not be able to perform anything. The informal sector of the economy is suffering.
All right, sir. So, I was just trying to do some calculation on my phone. I was trying to do the math. And I tried to, the amount, which is 8 billion, I tried to divide it by the national minimum wage, the current national minimum wage, which is at 70,000 naira. And that gave me 114,285.7, which means for that amount, 114 people will be paid that minimum wage, 114,000 people. I can just imagine, I'm not even sure how many government parastatals have 114,000 at a go. Those are their people, those are their workers, and they have to pay these people. So imagine this amount is being allocated to just sensitizing people. It's mind-boggling, really. But what does this say about, the government spending priorities? Because if they cannot prioritize the welfare of the people, you're just wondering, how do they prioritize 8 billion just to give speeches and sensitize people to pay up their debts, to ensure that they're not stealing, power equipment? And aside the fact that what he says, especially with our economic hardship, the economic realities of Nigerians, how do you think they view Nigerians? If they are going to set aside or allocate this amount just for sensitization?
Well, what that tells us is that there's something fundamentally wrong with the thinking processes of Nigerian leaders, Nigerian politicians. That is what Patrick Wilmot, in one of his books, a professor of sociology, Patrick Wilmot, which he wrote in 1984, where he said, the disruptive orientation to reality of Nigerian politicians. They have this disruptive orientation to reality. Their thought processes are warped, are fundamentally wrong, or they are not even thinking at all. Because nobody, it is indefensible for anybody to wake up and say 8 billion to tell Nigerians pay your electricity bill. Who does that? People pay already. People pay, and they are not even benefiting from from what they are paying for. They are not paying. They are not benefiting for what they are paying. They are not getting. We are not getting the services being rendered, and yet we pay. That is the irony of this matter. And what it tells us is that we have people in power who really are not about the people, who really don't think about the people, whose priorities are not about the welfare and the well-being and the security of the Nigerian people. That's what it tells us. It tells us that they are far removed. There's a total disconnect between the people who are quote unquote governing this country and the people that they are supposed to be governing over. That is what it tells you. It tells us. Despite the kind of cantankerous situation, economic situation we have, the kind of atrocious economic environment that we operate in, you are now saying 8 billion. Like I said, minimum of 200 to 300 transformers will have been purchased with that money, and that will benefit more than 300, 200 communities in this country, and then we help in their power supply. But somebody says, let's give that, we want to do media stuff, we want to do media stunt, let's use that for some kind of publicity to tell Nigerians, to encourage Nigerians to. They should encourage themselves to perform the assignments of their offices and not to tell Nigerians to be paying. So it tells you that when you put people in government who don't know what to do, what they will start doing is that they will start doing some kind of comedy that you can call funny peculiar, because that is what I'm seeing. Nobody can defend this 8 billion. And that's why, I don't understand what criteria Nigerian presidents use to appoint people into offices. And it's a case of putting square peg in a round hole, or the other way around. So that's what you are seeing there. When they don't know what to do, they will do some things that are ridiculous, that are indefensible, that are even unreasonable. Because that is what you see. It is a total, they just want to waste public funds for nothing, for the mere fun of it. What they should concentrate on is how to make sure they generate enough power and distribute enough power to the people of this country with consistency that it demands. This economy is suffering partly due to the epileptic power supply, epileptic power situation, the skeletal power situation in this country. And then somebody is saying that, it's because Nigerians are not paying. It's because we are not paying. What utter nonsense. What balderdash? As you are telling, it's a tell that to the Marines. It is a total. That is not something that nobody can, no sensible person can defend. 8 billion naira to now begin to tell Nigerians, pay your. It's just money for the boys. Somebody somewhere has come up with a brilliant idea to steal some money. It is a proceed of corruption, and I'll be disappointed if that is approved by the National Assembly and other relevant agencies. It shouldn't be approved. For 8 billion to do what? To do what? It's neither here nor there.
It's quite ridiculous, honestly. At this point, what do you think the government's priorities should be right now? Because we're still generating, I think, about 4,000 megawatts, 4,000 to 5,000, and for a nation of over 200 million people. So we're not even generating as much power that people need. So many people who their businesses are dependent on this, they cannot do that. In fact, a lot of people now are looking for alternative source of power. So we're still dealing with fuel subsidy being gone, and you have to buy fuel at over 1,000 naira. We're still dealing with the exchange rate, if anybody wants to think of inverter or solar system, because now that's very expensive. But even the power that you expect your government to give you, you still just do not see it as much. What do you think the government should be doing instead of allocating about 8 billion for sensitizing the people for the power supply that they still do not see?
First and foremost, I want to encourage civil society organizations, some non-government organizations. We have to go to court to stop the allocation of that money. We shouldn't allow it to happen. It's not about what the government should be doing. This government will not be good. It's good. What can we as a people do? What can we as activists do? What can we as civil society do to ensure that this type of thing does not happen? It's not about even appealing to them because they will not listen. They have put their eyes on that money to be. I mean, it's not about sensitization. It's about, it's going to, at the end of the day, 8 billion naira will end up as a proceed of corruption. But mark my word. So we need to go to court to stop them from allocating that money. That what should be. You will see that practically from Buhari, even from Jonathan till now, you see ministers generally are left to do what they like, what they want. That's why after the new government, you see one minister has stolen 500 billion naira. You know, one minister has stolen 600, 800 billion, and the rest of that. So, and whether they are committed or not, they just leave them there. For as long as the president is in power, he doesn't even tinker with whatever complaints are made. Even when he sees that there's absolutely zero return on investment, they just leave them there because it takes a competent president to appoint competent people into offices. It is the result we are seeing, because when you have an incompetent head over there, you don't expect him to look for competent people to run the affairs of the ministries, parastatals, and departments. You are not going to get that. So it takes a competent president, it takes a visionary president to appoint competent people, to appoint visionary people, to appoint people with revolutionary mindset, or how to transform the country, how to transform an economy, how to transform the infrastructures of the country, how to transform the security of the country into offices. But where you have a leader, the overall head, that doesn't have a particularly robust vision about how to redirect his country toward development and progress, you cannot expect such a president to appoint people in office who, look, Nigeria should have people in office who are in a hurry to develop this country. Who among these people, among these leaders, from federal to state to local, have you seen that is behaving as if he's in a hurry to develop this country, as if he's in a hurry to make people in this country happy? Have you in a hurry to secure this land? Have you, they are in a hurry to give us the power, the energy that we require for, a robust indigenous technological takeoff? Where do you see that? Where do you see such activities? Where do you see such people? They are not. They are nowhere. We thought the Internal Affairs Minister would maintain the momentum that he started when he came into office. Now he has gone silent. I don't know what's happening.
So what should their top priorities be?
Maybe that's a systemic issue.
So what should their top priorities
I don't know.
be now? Because we have to wrap up. So what should their top priorities? What would you love to see when it comes to the power sector in Nigeria?
I want to see a total overhaul of the Nigerian power sector. I want to see a situation whereby the discos, are made to perform their assignment and the duties for which they are being paid by Nigerians. I want a situation whereby we have consistent power supply, and we should be able to move from this 4,000 megawatts or whatever, 4,000 per day to something beyond even 15,000. So that is when we begin to say that we are even beginning to start as a country. So, and I want the president to pay priority attention to the power sector. It demands as much attention as security of this country demands. So that's what it should be. We can only encourage them, we can only appeal to them to see that they need to do something about the parlous, the terrible, the epileptic power situation of this country. We cannot continue like this. Are you aware that this situation, this power problem, has been like this for over 5 decades?
Yes.
Over 50. So it's the same thing that people are complaining about in 1979, in 1975. It is what we are complaining about in 2025. So let it be known that this problem has more or less become a part and parcel of Nigeria. It is almost, look at, they are making jest of us during the Nations Cup, last Nations Cup, where they are pulling generator. That is Nigerian's national anthem. They are pulling generator.
All right,
is it ridiculous? The body that is in leadership that has some little shame, we know that we have to do something about the power situation in this country.
Yes,
quite unfortunately.
Thank you so much. I mean, you just highlighted a fundamental issue, which is over 5 decades, we're still complaining of the same thing. There are people that have passed away thinking that there would be a day whereby we would have seen stable power supply, but still, we're still discussing this at this time, and we just hope that soon, I hope it would not tarry, we would not be having this conversation again. Instead, we'd be having constant power in Nigeria, and they will not be siphoning our money, saying they want to use it for something as mediocre as sensitization. Thank you so much, Comrade.
Amen in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. It's always a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful day.
And you too.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're speaking with Comrade Mark Adebayo from the C.U.P.P. And we've just been looking at the fact that, well, the power sector, the Prime Minister has allocated about 8 billion for sensitization, and NLC has obviously criticized it. This is where we have to wrap it up on the show today. Thank you so much for having the breakfast with me. My name is Rume. Paulson. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Good morning.